Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So, in last episode, we had the Year 12 draft. I don't know what you guys' opinions on the draft are as yet, because I am pre-recording this episode and the next two episodes after this. But anyways, if you guys didn't catch the last episode, we had a bit of an okay draft. I wouldn't say it was the best draft in the world. We were looking at a catcher that was supposed to go in the top 10. However, he did not fall to us as he went third overall to the Padres. So we were stuck with taking Richie Chen, who's not that bad, to be honest, as a starting pitcher prospect. Has a good starting overall at 18 years old, which is good. Only an 83 potential, but obviously he could outgrow it. We also have some other guys like Douglas Takahashi has a good starting overall for an 18-year-old with a little bit of a low potential. So I think those guys could definitely do better than actually anticipated. And then we have David Koo, who also has some potential. Kana Fong has some potential. A little bit low overalls for these guys, considering they're 21 years old, but at least they have some potential. And then Stuart Chow, same type of thing. He's got a good overall, though, for a 21-year-old, but not a super high ceiling. So I think we did pretty good with our selections, but obviously it would have been better if we were to be able to get Tachiki. If I could get all these things open, let me actually show you guys what he was looking like again. But he went to the Padres at third overall, which kind of sucks. But obviously, we were expecting him to go maybe before us. So, but yeah, he would have been a really, really good selection. He's a 67 at 18 with 89 potential. Would have been definitely the catcher of the future of this team. But unfortunately, we just had too late of a pick this year. So, weren't able to grab him. And our team has also in the MLB been kind of falling off a little bit, which kind of sucks because obviously we are still in the playoff race. We are in a wild card spot at the moment, but we have fallen down to 60 and 50 after we were, I believe, like 50 and 35. So our record is getting closer to being back to 500 again, which is not good because obviously 500 really isn't good enough to make it into the MLB playoffs. So we got to hope that we have a good rest of the season sim in terms of making the postseason if we want to get there. Now, what's been interesting is the pitchers have been still playing pretty good, especially like Ari Wamura, some of the other guys like Nguyen and all that. But we have been getting a little bit of rough results from some of our like guys in the bullpen. So I think that's maybe what's maybe losing us games, to be honest, because we have been okay in terms of some hitting departments this year. So I think some of the relievers in the bullpen have been really struggling, and that's been kind of hurting us a little bit. But I'm hoping still for obviously a good run in the last little bit of the season. We have a bunch of guys on like 10 plus home runs as well. Some guys with actually some solid batting average, like Theodore Lee, for instance, on at 272. So we are definitely doing a lot better hitting-wise this year than we have done in the past. So excited to see how we end up wrapping up the season. But hopefully that involves us making it to the playoffs. Because if we fall off now, we still have a window of opportunity to obviously get into the playoffs. But I don't know how big of a window it will be. Because eventually we're going to start losing guys to retirement and free agency and all that. So we got to hope that we get to the playoffs when we actually have this type of record right now. So hoping that we get into that spot. I will show you guys actually the standings again quickly before we get into actually simulating more. As you can see, 60 and 50, 2.5 games back of the Astros, who obviously won the World Series last year. So that's pretty impressive on its own right. But you can see in terms of the wild card spot, we are currently first with a 545 win percentage. The Rays are on a 527 and the Yankees on a 528. Then you have the Rangers, who are not in a wild card spot, on a 509. So hypothetically, the team we need to worry about the most is the Texas Rangers, and then obviously these two teams as well would be kind of worrisome. So we got to kind of stay in that 520 to 540 win percentage range if we do want to make it to the postseason, I think. So there is that. Then I think we are ready to continue to simulate. We will simulate a month because we don't have September call-ups yet. So I don't even really need to look really at double or triple A yet because their seasons don't end till September themselves. So we'll focus on the MLB for this rest of this month because obviously it's important to see if our team's doing good. We do still have an injury at the moment as well. I forgot to mention in the last episode to Sasaki, not Suzuki. There's so many guys with similar names. Out 1 to 2 months. He was out 2 to 3 months, dislocated shoulder. So hopefully once he comes back, that helps our team a bit. But there is a chance that he might not be back for the playoffs. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But let's go a series at a time. So we have 3 games against the Mets. Hopefully we could do good against them. How are they doing this season so far? A little bit below 500, 50 and 58. Okay, so they're trying to climb back into the playoff mix, but they probably won't make it. Who knows? 3 games against New York. We take the first, lose the second, but win the third. So a nice little series win there. We are now 62 and 51. Good that we're still winning some games here, because we had some really rough stretches in the last episode. As you can see here, we're over the last 2 weeks, we only won 3 games, so we got to be a lot better in terms of winning games consistently. And I'm hoping that this team could do that as the season goes on. Obviously, the September call-ups should help us out a little bit in terms of offense and also pitching, but I'm not too sure on who exactly I'm going to be calling up just yet. Okay, so we have 3 games against the Guardians. How are we going to do in this series? Lose the first, win the second, lose the third. So we do lose that series, but we did get 1 win at least, so it wasn't a sweep. We're now 63 and 53. But we just got to be careful now we don't fall off too hard. 3 games against the Marlins, who are well below 500, so we should be able to hypothetically sweep this series, but obviously you never know what can happen in these games. So 3 games against the Marlins. Win the first via shutout. Philip Nishi has been injured, but obviously he's not a major league player, but 1 to 2 months with a fractured foot. That's not good. We win the second game, and Austin Choi's been injured. I don't think he's an MLB player. I can't remember, to be honest. And we win 10 to 2 there, so we do pull off the sweep against the Marlins, which is what I was expecting. We are still 2.5 games back, though, so the Astros are cooking right now, too. But we are on a good little stretch here as of late, winning, I guess, now a total of 5 games of our last 7, which is what we want. We have another series with the Guardians a week after our last series. That's interesting. So they have been really good this season. So this is a bit of a tougher series. Means why we probably lost to them in the last series, because they are 68 and 51 at this point. So it makes sense that we're losing games to them because they're pretty similar record to us. What will we do here? 3 games against the Guardians. The first one, Stanley Zuki is back or injured for 1 to 2 months. So it's Suzuki that I'm thinking of. Now I'm thinking of Sasaki and damn. All these names are really confusing at sometimes. But he's out for 1 to 2 weeks. That kind of sucks. Is he Major League? I don't think he's Major League, right? I don't think he is yet. I don't think so. We do win that series. Nice. Okay, we lost the first game, but then we win 9-2 and 8-4. So good offensive performances in them. We are 3.5 games back now of the Astros. Yeah, the Astros are running away with this division right now. We have another tough series, Milwaukee, who's also 64 and 56, so pretty close to us in terms of their record. It's a road series. Let's see how we do in these 3 games against Milwaukee. And we sweep them as well. All right. All right. That's pretty impressive. So we are on a nice little 5-game winning streak here. And our team is starting to cook here at the end of the season again. We're only 1.5 games back of the Astros now, so we had a little bit of a scare in the last episode, but now the team's starting to find itself again, which is really nice to see. And I'm not going to worry about contract extensions till the offseason because I just don't want to think about making the offseason yet. I want to think about making the playoffs right now. Okay, Colorado, 67 and 58 on the season, so they've been another really good team this season. So this is another high-end matchup. I remember when they were first place in the league, and we were like 3rd place. So this should be a good little matchup. It is on the road again. How will we do against the Rockies? Lose 2, win 1. That's not the worst case result. Obviously, we could have lost all 3 games, but we win 1 of them. So 2.5 games back still. So still climbing up in the standings a little bit. We are better in win percentage than we were at the beginning of this episode. And we are still 1st place, obviously, in that wild card spot. Yankees and Angels are catching up to us now. So the Angels have been playing really good as of late, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We are still not that high of a scoring of a run team. But we're definitely doing better offensively than we've done in prior seasons. And our runs allowed, we've been fantastic in terms of runs allowed. Like, I'm curious to see where we finish in terms of that at the end of the season. All right, we have 3 games against San Diego on home field. They are close to 500, 63 and 66. And then we have a series against a tough Yankees team. Damn, we have some really tough series down the stretch, which is not great. Let's see how we do against the Padres. Win all of them. We swept them again, too. Okay, so we've been on like 3 sweeps as of late. I think it was 3 sweeps, right? We swept Milwaukee. We swept San Diego. We've also swept the Marlins this month. Yeah, it's been a really good month for this team. 75 and 56 on the year. That's really nice to see. And then we have our series with the Yankees and 1 against Houston. And then we have to do our September call-ups, which I'm going to be interested to see who we end up calling up, because I'm honestly not sure who I want to call up just yet. All right, 3 games against the Yankees. So we have Nguyen starting 1 game, Young starting 1, and Tan. How are we going to do in these 3 games against a good Yankees team? Win 1, lose 2. At least we started off with a nice 11-4 win, and then the losses were not by much runs, so at least they were kind of close games. But that kind of sucks to lose 2 in a row afterwards. We're 4 games back of the Astros now. Jeez. Yeah, the Astros are really, really good. They're probably looking for another World Series this year. Meanwhile, we're just looking to at least make it to the postseason. And then we have a game against Houston here, who's been really good. Obviously, they're probably the best team in the league at the moment. We have a 3-game series with them. And we have also the Angels and all that stuff. Man, there's some really good series ahead. Can we win this first game? Kazuhito Hayashi has been injured for a few days. At least it's a few days, because he's been really, really good this year. Made the All-Star game. And we do win that game, though, 8-4. So that's a pretty big win against a really good team. So love to see that. That'll help us in terms of maybe coming back in the division. Kaz should be back relatively soon. Parker has to start the next game, and then Stan will start the other one. Okay, so we got to make some September call-ups here. We got to call up 3 players, I think. Yeah, 3 players at the moment. Kaz is currently injured, but we got to call up 3 players. What do we want to call up from the minors? Let's see, 40-man roster here. Who needs to get called up? Tommy Wong is a relief pitcher. Honestly, that's a good option. That's a really good shout. He has been fantastic so far in AAA, and we do need better help in our bullpen. So, Tommy Wong's going to get one of the call-ups. I don't mind that option, so we're going to call up him as a reliever. So that's 1 player. It says we have 27 out of 28, or 26. We actually might have 27 players in the MLB already, so we might not have to call up much more. And then in terms of batting, I'm trying to think of who we want to call up. I could have obviously called up Matsui, but I'm not going to do that. He's been kind of a weird player in the MLB. Michael Wong, 74. He hasn't been that bad. I don't know who I would want to call up for the other one. Maybe Walter Choi? Yeah, maybe I'll call up Walter Choi. He's actually been pretty good. And I don't know if he's going to develop much more than this. Let's call up Walter Choi as the other option, sure. So that should have us at the amount of players we need. So I should be able to simulate through this, hypothetically. Let's just see. No, we need to call up 1 more player. 1 more player. Oh my goodness. Who am I going to call up? I got to call up our best players possible. Nishi's currently injured. Robert Yabu, I guess, technically. Yeah, we'll call up Robert Yabu as the other one. I don't think he's going to get claimed if I have to send him back down again, but let's call up him as well. Because might as well. We win that game, man. We're going to actually win this series against the Houston Astros. That's pretty huge. AAA does not have some valid lineups. Let me adjust those. Because I do not want to go auto. Because I don't think it's going to do anything I want. Let's put Koji Yamazaki in as the DH. Actually, wait a sec. Is that the third base spot? No, it's not. Okay. Yamazaki is the DH, sir, and Stanley Suzuki only can play first base. He actually has really good contact, so maybe I'll make him the DH instead. Yamazaki can't play in that spot. Trying to think of who I want to put in this spot. I guess I could put Champlain Whitfield, even though he's not a prospect. Just because Champlain Whitfield's the actual outfielder here. So we'll do that. And then Stanley Suzuki DH, I guess, sure. That's fine with me. Alright. We would normally look at AAA and the rest of their season. However, we're going to still focus on the MLB. But on the 23rd, when their season ends, I'll look at AAA's player stats. I just know I need to focus on the MLB right now. Because obviously, playoffs are right around the corner. Alright, so can we sweep Houston? Can we sweep Houston? Yes, we can. Wow, we actually swept the Astros. That's a pretty big series win. We're only now 1 game back of them in this AL West, which is pretty impressive. So, yeah, likely we're going to make the playoffs, I think, at this rate, because the Rangers, who are below us, are 9 games back of us. And then technically they're 10 games back of the Astros. So, there's a realistic chance that we are going to make it to the playoffs this year, I think, which is pretty damn awesome. So, excited for some postseason baseball. But we got a 4-game series with the Angels, who are now above 500. So this is going to be an interesting one. Jung Tan has Kazuhito Hayashi, and Parker Iwamura will start all those games. So how are we going to do against the Angels after a big series with the Houston Astros? We win the first one. Hayashi's back to full health. That's good. We actually ended up taking the first 3 of the 4 games. So we were on a nice little winning streak. We do last the last one, but We have now jumped back up to first place in the AL West once again. So it's literally going to come down to us and Astros, who end up winning AL West. Hopefully we win the division, but it might come down to like the last 2 games of the season, because we probably play each other at least one more time, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's probably going to come down to the last one. I hope I don't get a wild card one, because that would just get us a nice little bypass, but I feel like the Astros are still a favorite to probably win the World Series this year, considering they won last season. All right, we got 3 games against the Pirates, who have been really good too this year. Damn, we're playing such a lot of good teams at the end of the season. And we take 2 there. Sasaki is back. That's awesome. That's good. We have 29 players now, so we got to send down somebody that was called up. Who do we want to send down out of those guys that called up? So Sasaki being back is really nice. It was probably, I'm going to send down Yabu. Yeah, I'm probably going to send Yabu back down. Yeah, let's do that. Boom. Yabu is sent back down. Let's go back to our lineup here. And Sasaki's already right back in his normal spot. That's good. Our batting apparently has been really good as of late too. So our offense is finally starting to find itself, which is awesome. And we do sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates as well. Wow, we have been fantastic in the second half of the season, which makes me feel like we're due for an upset in the playoffs. But 85-59. We're a half game up still on the Astros, but man, this has been a really good stretch as of late. We do not play the Astros again this season, but we do have some other divisional matchups. So, I feel like we're going to end up taking on the Astros in if we get in the wild card and we get to the next round. Or if they get in the wild card and they get to the next round, I feel like we're going to end up facing each other in the playoffs. I just feel like that's the thing that's going to happen. Okay, 2 games against the Dodgers. Kind of weird having a little bit 2-game series, but let's see how we do against them. We take them both as well. Man, we have been absolutely crazy in this last little bit of the season. Like, by comparison to last episode, we are just winning so many games. We've only lost 1 game this month so far. Wow. And we have 4 games against the Mariners here coming up. We also do have another series against them, too, a week later. So 4 games against the Mariners. We take the first 2. And then take 1 of the last 2. Nice, okay. 90-60. I think we're playoff bound at this rate. We have clinched the playoff spot, I think, right? Yep, we've clinched postseason berth for the first time in franchise history. The Tokyo Tropic Turtles will make the MLB playoffs. That's awesome. That is awesome. And you can see our team batting average right now is a 261, which is actually relatively solid. So, man, I am excited. Postseason baseball. I just obviously don't know how good this team's going to do in the playoffs, because obviously our contact team is still not there, but we got great pitching, great power. Wow, okay, playoff bound in year 12. Didn't expect it to take only 12 years. Like I was saying, Dylan predicted that we weren't going to make the playoffs this year and just barely miss. We've had a fantastic season. Fantastic season. Okay, 3 games against Boston. We know that we've already made the playoffs, but I still want to take this a little slow. We swept them too. Holy crap, this team might end up hitting 100 wins this season. Is this team going to hit 100 wins? Because that would be one of the biggest, most improved seasons I've seen. Because we went from 70-something last year to 93 already. We're already like 20 wins up from last year, I think. All right, 3 games against the Mariners. And we take the first one, we take the second one, and we lose the last one. That's okay. And I think AAA has done their season. Yep, AAA has done their season. AA. Is AA done their season? Oh, AA was done a while ago. Oh no, does that mean I missed the AA stats? Maybe not, actually. Might be able to take a look at her stats still. I forgot about AA. Let's take a look at some player stats from the AA and AAA season now. So Tom Chen has been, or was kind of mid. He is a D potential guy, so I don't expect much of him, but the quality starts are there, at least, if you guys want to take a look at quality starts. But Tom Chen's the only starting pitcher right now in AA. We do have at least some reinforcements coming because of the recent draft, though. Akio Yamamoto was fantastic. Really good numbers from Akio Yamamoto. A good record, good ERA, good whip. Actually, the whip might be a tiny bit high, but it's not too bad. Yamato was really good, too. All right. Vincent Wong, really good, too. Wan Yan Chang was great, too. Damn, man. We have some good relievers. Richard Cho, good as well. Pete Kuo, good. Charles Nakamura, good. And Ryan Helsley, who's not even a prospect, was terrible. So, I think in general, the pitching was pretty good, especially in the bullpen from that AA team. terms of the batting in Double-A, William A. Bayek, or B. Bayek, I should say, finished with a 263. Meanwhile, A. Bayek finished with a 231. He's up to a 78, so he's getting very close to being Major League bound. He'll probably be back in Triple-A next year, but he's still been a bit of a mixed bag in terms of his performance. Russell Lim on a 260. Pretty good year for Russell Lim. Robert Iramura had a pretty good first season in Double-A. Not a lot of home runs because he's more of a contact hitting guy. At 280 batting average, though, is really, really nice. Tadahito Taguchi at 257, not bad. Jungwoo Ahn at 254. Brian Hugh at 242. Geez, I burped when I talked, I think. Sal Chen at 267. And Darren Hoffman, doesn't matter, 241. Jeffrey Saito at 229. Michael Fong at 249. Tom Chen is the pitcher, so that's basically it for Double-A. So I would say in general, Double-A looks like they had an okay year. How did they finish? 16-53. I'm kind of surprised they had that low of a win-loss ratio, but interesting year for the Double-A team. Triple-A, who just finished up their season. Let's take a look at their stats. Kenny Rabu is kind of a mixed bag, it looks like, but that's okay. Robert Matsui actually played decent, I think. Let me take a look at the quality start counter. Yeah, he was definitely much better in Triple-A than he was in the MLB. But obviously, I don't know if he should come back up to the majors at any point. He's a little bit of an interesting player because he is going to arbitration potentially this offseason. Okay. And then David Lim, who is a reliever that had to be forced into a starter. It's not the worst thing. 4 games started, no quality starts. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Walter Lee was really good as a reliever down in Triple-A. Love to see it. Austin Choi was also pretty damn good as a reliever. William Fong, not so much, but he is a low potential guy. Philippe Rabu had a rough go, and he also had some injuries this season. So, I don't know about Philippe Rabu. Tom Ann was pretty solid. And Vincent Chang was really good. He's probably Major League bound for sure next season, being an 81. So, we have more bullpen help coming next year, even though our pitching has already been ridiculous. Good ERA, good whip. Yeah, it's exactly what you need from your closer. Like 35 saves. 6 blown saves is a bit high, but 35 saves is really good. So, Vincent Chang, shout out to you. And it'll be exciting to see what he does in the Major League next season. They finished 53-97, so they might have some good batting stats too. Brian Shin at 234, Russell Yang at 229, Dusty Kim at 227 in his first season. Not the greatest. Is up to a 75 at 18 though. So he could definitely be Major League bound relatively soon. Nishi at 267, not too bad. Michael Wong at 253, Chang Ho Chu at 267 since getting called up. That's really good actually. I was expecting him not to do as good, but he pretty much maintained basically what he did in Double-A and Triple-A. Stanley Suzuki, a 299. That's fantastic. So Stanley Suzuki looking good in terms of contact. However, he is dropping off because he's a deep potential, which rather sucks, but he was actually pretty good this season. Tom Cho at 291 is also relatively good. And then Ishii at 217. Yamazaki at 209. Yabu at 245. Obviously played a tiny little bit when he got called up, but he wasn't very good in it. Richard Chen at 267. And that's it. So there's Triple-A. Let's go back to the MLB. We are 95-61 on the season. Looking to hit 100 wins. If we hit 100 wins, we have to win 5 of our last 6 games. So I don't know if we're going to hit 100 wins. If we do, that'd be amazing. But at the same time, I just hope that we win in the playoffs too, not just in the regular season. So, 3 games against Texas. How are we going to do against them? We lose the first one, which means we need to win every game the rest of the season if we want to hit 100 wins, which we do not. We actually lose that series against Texas, so we're now 96-63. We have probably clinched our division. Yeah, we definitely have clinched our division. The Astros are 7.5 games back of us. So we have jumped, and we will not be in a wild card game. Astros will be in the wild card game, though. So that is pretty damn awesome. The fact that we are going to be in the playoffs and actually in a playoff spot where we don't have to play the wild card game. I like to see that. All right. We also have 3 games against the Angels to wrap up this season. So the first 2, how are we going to do in them? We win both of them. And our last game of the season, do we finish with 99 wins this season? Let's see. Yes, we do. So we finished 99-63. So 1 loss or win away from 100 wins this year. What a season it was for this team. And we have made it to the playoffs, where we're going to face whoever wins the wild card matchup, which the wild card matchup is Houston and New York. So we're going to either be taking on the Yankees or the Houston Astros. We're definitely going to look at both their teams to see who we'd rather face as well. We'll see who we face in this episode. But first, we got to take a look at our player stats. We also do have some award winners, which is pretty exciting. And some league leaders too. So I'm excited to see if we won a Cy Young this season or what we've won. But let's first and foremost go to the lineup. Actually, the pitching rotation. Parker Iwamura. Honestly, I think he could win the Cy Young this year. Based on those numbers, I'm not going to go into his player card because Ross is actually will say if he has awards, but he did make the All-Star game, so we technically don't know if he won a Cy Young still. But 17-5 record, really damn good season from him. ERA really good, WHIP really good. 33 games started. How many quality starts? 24 quality starts. And then if we look at the more important start stats, like the Ks per 9 was fantastic, the walks per 9 fantastic, home runs per 9 great, FIP was good. Yeah, I think Parker's going to win the Cy Young based on that. Stan Nguyen, 13-11 record, good ERA, good WHIP. He was another great player this season, up to a 97 overall. 33 games started, 13 quality starts, a little bit low on the quality starts department, but good FIP and such, so looks like a good season from him. I don't know his awards as well for him. I don't remember if he made an All-Star game or not. Walter Jung, good winning-loss ratio. His ERA actually was the best of his career, I feel like. Yeah, this was the best year of his career, hypothetically, based on ERA and WHIP. So Walter might have actually been doing stuff this year. And he also had a good FIP again, as he normally does. So maybe it was actually a good year for Walter. But obviously the ERA is still kind of a bit higher up, but still. Vincent Tan was pretty good. 32 games started, 19 quality starts. Nice. His FIP was a little bit higher up, though. But still not bad. And then Kazuhito Hayashi. Honestly, he could have won the Cy Young in his first season as an actual starter. Look at that record. Look at that ERA. Look at that WHIP. It's either him or Iwamura, I think, that's going to end up winning the Cy Young this year. Both of them made the All-Star game as well, so honestly, I have no idea if they won or not. 32 games started, 18 quality starts. To do that well in your first season as a starter is friggin' insane. Wow. FIP, fantastic as well. So, the pitchers did their job. What about the rotation, or the bullpen, I should say, not the rotation? Walter Cho was a great reliever. 8-2 record, good ERA, good WHIP. He's probably one of our better relievers. Leonard Sato found himself, it looks like, near the end of the season because his ERA went way down. So, I like that a lot. Eric Yamamoto, kind of a mixed bag on him. What about Yamashita? Yamashita was pretty good. He did lose a lot of games, but pretty good stats from him. Tommy Wong, who got called up, was actually pretty good. Only pitched 4 innings, had 6 strikeouts, and didn't give up a single run. Guess he did walk one person? Let's see. Did he walk some people? Where do I see the stats? I don't even remember. Wild pitches. I don't remember where he says that. Maybe he didn't. I honestly don't know. Philip Chung was actually pretty good this year. So shout out to Philip Chung. And then the closer, Tom Koo, really found himself in that last bit of the season as well. Let's go. 49 saves. He actually might have been the reliever of the year on that amount of saves. There's a chance. There's a chance. So pitching was absolutely awesome this season. What about batting? Yamazaki, a 276. Holy crap, he found himself completely in that late stages of the season when we cooked. 30 home runs, 85 RBIs. Yamazaki is back. His power did drop off a cliff versus lefties, which kind of sucks, but he is back. He had his best season in home runs, best season in RBIs. His batting average was where it was last year before his injury. Nice. His OPS a little bit lower, but still. Yamazaki is back and had a great year. Love to see it. Yokoyama, 301 batting average. Yokoyama's a fantastic contact guy, man. Our team is looking so good. And why the heck is somebody out of the lineup? It's supposed to be CO here, right, I think? Yeah, it's supposed to be CO there, I believe. So I don't know why that happened. Let me just remove that. Just so we have it all set up and ready for the playoffs. So after Yokoyama, Sato had a 282. I love seeing these averages so high because our team has struggled for average quite a bit in the past. A lot of players all of a sudden had a really good last half of the season. 16 home runs only, but 70 RBIs for Sato. Building off last year, pretty similar results. Yeah, Sato's been pretty damn consistent. Tom Lee, 260, a 22 home run season is great. 99 RBIs for Tom Lee. So he's still building up on that RBI department. His batting average was the best of his career as well. A lot of guys are going to get boosts this year, I feel like. Theodore Lee, good season from him, a 272. Stayed consistent throughout the last bit of the season. Love to see it. So he built off his rookie season quite a bit. Less home runs, more RBIs, better average, better results. Love to see it. David Sasaki, who had some injury trouble throughout the season. He was probably one of the worst players on the team in terms of batting average, but he was still okay in terms of home runs, had an okay OPS. So I don't mind the stats from Sasaki, but obviously hopefully he stays a bit more healthy. How much home runs did Nomo hit? 25, and he had 107 RBIs. So the first player to hit 100 or more RBIs on this team, I think, consecutive seasons actually for Nomo. Less home runs. He still hasn't been the same home run guy as he was in his rookie season, but he's starting to get that average up there. The RBIs are still coming. He's only just getting better, and his contract is going to look awesome once he actually gets better and better each year. So shout out to Nomo. He's already 27. Damn, he feels like he's only like 22, but he's not. Vincent Seo was pretty good this year too. 21 home runs for Seo at 275 average. So Seo having his best year of his career as well. A lot of guys are going to get boosts this year, I feel like. Love to see it. He's on a nice little contract, but he is a pending free agent in 2038. Yikes. Stanley Oka, not bad. The average is a little bit lower than most people on the team, but he is getting better from his rookie year, so still impressed with Oka for sure. Because if they're improving at least every single season, that's at least positive to take away. In terms of people on the bench, Walter Choi, 211 average. He only got called up in the September call-ups. Not the best. Robert Yabu, we saw him. He was in the September call-ups. Not the best either. Takahashi, definitely not as good off the bench as he is as a starter. That's for sure. But obviously he could play some playoff games potentially for us if we need to. He's only signed for one more season after this. Okay. And then Mark Taguchi did not play hardly at all this season, and he was pretty dreadful when he did play. That's interesting. All right, so there is our team. I want to take a look, obviously, at the standings first before we take a look at the league leaders and the awards. So in terms of the standings, obviously we win the AL West. In terms of the entire league, anybody had more wins than us or what? I think we were the best team in the entire MLB based on wins, which is insane because we obviously had a little bit of a rough last episode, but we might have had such a good last half of the season that we might have finished as the best team in the league, which is pretty insane. I want to go to team rankings and that stuff. So batting average, we were 13th, so we are definitely getting a lot better in terms of contact hitting. Runs, we were 4th best in offense too. The Toronto Blue Jays were number 1. Houston was number 2, and there is a chance we have to take on them soon. Our next episode. Hits, Houston was number 1. Oh boy, yeah, I think Houston's going to be a really tough team. Like, they're going to win the wild card and then go on a tear and somehow win the World Series again. Because the fact they fell off and we went so hard in the last half of the season, I just feel like that could happen. So we're still up there really in a lot of offensive numbers, but we are definitely better than past seasons. But the pitching's probably where we're number 1 in a lot of things, right? That's my guess. Let's see. Should be up here relatively soon. There's a lot of stats to look through. Fielding percentage don't matter. Yeah, we were number 1 in ERA. So yeah, there's a good chance Kaz or Parker has just won a Cy Young for sure on that front. The Rockies were number 2. Diamondbacks number 3. Complete games, we were second in complete games. We had the most shutouts in the league with 19. So that's also pretty impressive. We also had the most saves. So that's why I think Tom Koo might have just won an award. Hits allowed. We've allowed the least amount of hits too. So runs allowed, we're number 1. Yeah, we are very good pitching and all that. So I'm hoping that obviously that contains itself in the playoffs and continues. And then hopefully our batting does good too. And we were the best team in the league, which is pretty damn insane. All right. So first and foremost, league leaders. I just want to quickly go through this. Kaz was number 1 in winning percentage with an 895. Tom Koo led the league in saves, so I think Tom Koo is going to be a reliever of the year award winner. Yokoyama finishing number 8 in batting average. Love to see that. Hits, nobody up there. Doubles, Oka was number 6. So Oka brought a lot of doubles and extra base hits, which is nice. Triples, nobody up there. Home runs, Yamazaki was number 7. That's kind of insane because in the first half, I don't think he did that much, but he definitely found himself at the end of the season. RBIs, Nomo was number 4. Love to see that. Nobody in stolen bases or anything. OPS, we had nobody up there. Wins, Iwamura was number 1. Kaz was also tied for first. Yuri Perez up there too. Yeah, I think Parker's going to win Cy Young or Kaz's. Unless Yuri Perez steals it, but I doubt it. Losses, our top 2 guys again. Hayashi and Iwamura, amazing. And the fact that Hayashi was starting as our number 5 pitcher in the rotation too. That's insane. Saves, there's Tom Koo at number 1, just beating out Zamora. ERA, Hayashi and Iwamura. Diego Encarnacion was number 1 though. Hopefully he doesn't win the Cy Young. Stan was tied for number 6 in home runs allowed, so we got a lot of good pitching results. Vincent Tan was up there in shouts. Like literally every pitcher is up there in something different. Strikeouts, Iwamura was number 2. Complete games, Vincent Tan was number 2 with 4. Walks allowed, see, Walter was number 1. Literally every single pitcher was like top 10 in something. And then Stan is number 8. Whip, we had 3 pitchers up there, Iwamura, Nguyen, and Hayashi. Pretty damn insane. Pitching war, we had 2 guys up there. Freddie Valenzuela was number 1, so maybe they did have a different guy win the Cy Young, but hopefully not. And in batting war, nobody was up there for us. All right. So there is that. And the final thing was we got to take a look at the award winners, and then obviously we got to see who we're facing potentially next round. I do want to take a look at both Houston and the Yankees, though, just to see who we could end up facing. But first, players of the month, actually. Do we have any players of the month winners at the end of the season? No, we did not. Tom Lee was the only one that was a player of the month in May. That's kind of surprising because in the last half of the season, I felt like we were cooking. So I thought there would be somebody up there, but nobody was. All right. So award winners for this season. Who won an award for us? Parker Iwamura does win the Cy Young. So it didn't go to Hayashi, who honestly could have won it. But Parker Iwamura is a Cy Young winner in the MLB. And Kazuhito Hayashi wasn't up there for Rookie of the Year early in the season, but he does win AL Rookie of the Year as well. So we didn't have the reliever of the year, but we had the Rookie of the Year, who was a great pitcher, and we also had the Cy Young winner, which is awesome. Fantastic. So look at that. Hayashi literally almost won the Cy Young too. Just the strikeouts, I think, were lower, and that's why Iwamura won it. So Parker Iwamura, adding that Cy Young to that repertoire. Now he has an all-star appearance at Cy Young and a Gold Glove. Shout out to Parker. Shout out to Parker. He's also making less money every year still for a while, so that's awesome. And then Kazuhito Hayashi, who obviously we're going to have to pay a lot of money to, just almost won a Cy Young in his first season as a starter, and he's already been a Rookie of the Year too, which is awesome. So that's great. So those guys up there. Anybody else were up there for awards? Yeah, Tom Koo came really close to winning reliever of the year as well. Just lost to Rick Pines or something like that. So there's that. Rookie of the year went to Hayashi, just beating out 2 Houston rookies, Archie Battle and Robin Morales. Of course, it's Houston again. I swear, I think we're going to be taking on Houston next round, my guess. And it's going to be tough because obviously they won the World Series last year, so they have the experience. Yeah, Houston's going to be really good, I think, again in this playoffs, and I'm kind of scared about that. Hopefully we face the Yankees instead, but I honestly don't know if the Yankees are going to be easier for us. Yamazaki got a Silver Slugger. Nice to see that. We had some other guys almost win Silver Sluggers, but not, so that's okay. Good season from this team. The question now is, who would I rather face? The Yankees or Houston? The Yankees or Houston? We'll start by looking at Houston. This is their pitching rotation. Kyle Harrison, Felipe Pinheiro, Archie Battle, Gavin Stone, Brian Bello. Their starters don't look that insane. They also didn't have the best results in terms of pitching, so they might be more of an offensive team. We might be more of a pitching team. So it could be an interesting matchup in that department. And then bullpen, Cole Winn, Davey Garcia. Yeah, their pitching, honestly, is kind of a mixed bag. Kind of a mixed bag. What about the Yankees pitching? What is the Yankees pitching looking like? It's looking a little bit better. Michael Oliva, Cade Horton, Fernando Avalos, Jackson Jobe, and Chase Dollinger. But also they had some guys with not great stats, like Horton really wasn't that great. And then Jobe wasn't really that great. Oliva wasn't that great. Huh. Yeah, both these teams might be more offensively driven because their pitching definitely isn't as strong as ours. So I'm curious to see what their batting order look like. So we'll start off by looking at Houston again. Houston, yeah, they're definitely more offensively driven. Holy crap. Nobody on their batting rotation is below an 82. That's insane. So they have Brady Ray, George Valera, who batted a 280. Cortez, of course, this guy's insane. 310, he's been one of the best players in the series so far. He has won one MVP and Hank Aaron Award. He's also been an All-Star one time, Silver Slugger one time. Jeez. Deutschman. Yeah, this is a really good hitting team. Holy crap. Okay. So best pitching against one of the best hitting teams out there. That's going to be interesting. That's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. And what about the Yankees? What about the Yankees? Not as strong in terms of hitting. So I think easily Houston has almost like a free pass based on the batting and all that to get to the next round and face us. That's my guess right now. Because this batting doesn't look as strong in terms of overalls. They do have some good averages though. So some guys that might actually be able to overperform. Huh, okay. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see who we face. Okay, so the question is now, who are we going to be facing in the ALDS? Is it the Yankees or is it Houston? We got to simulate, I guess, a couple days here to find out. So let's go through the first 3 days just to see if anything pops up or not. One more day. It's going to be the Yankees. Okay, Houston was knocked out in the wild card. That's actually huge for us. That is huge. Absolutely huge. It took 3 games too, so 2 games to 1. Ooh, wow. I am really surprised the Houston Astros fell off that much. So we are going to be going up against that Yankees team again. So how did they pitch in the wild card game? Curious on that, because that pitching department really didn't look the best to me, and then that hitting didn't look better either. So do we have almost a free pass to the next round? Maybe not. They did just knock out the defending World Series champions, so their pitching does look better in terms of overall, and in the wild card series, looks like they actually had some pretty good results. So as minus this Landon Sims guy, he was pretty trash. Yeah, I think we still definitely have the pitching advantage, even though both teams have good pitching. But the batting, I think we might actually have the advantage in, which is going to be interesting. How was their batting in that series? 250, 429. Geez, Geraldo Perdomo. Melendez was good. So they had some guys really do good in that first round. Okay. Huh, alright. Is there anything else I want to take a look at before we end this episode? I don't think so. I don't think so. They were batting at 286 in that series. Okay. Alright. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the ALDS against the New York Yankees. Once again, it's a pre-recorded episode, and also the episode afterwards will be as well. But will be interesting to see what we do in our first ever playoff series. I'm happy that we made it here, but now that we're technically the best team in the league in terms of wins and all that, we got to put it into postseason performance as well. So I think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.